What's up, everybody? I wanted to make a video about the George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin case, but I mean, I think that that's been, overexposed. It goes without saying that, he did murder him. I don't care what the court system say or what the jury says. I mean, I believe that he murdered him. No one can convince me otherwise. Um, I just wanted to touch on black violence, and crimes in our neighborhood in general. I think that that's going overshadowed by all the protests and all the rallying and all the marching. But I do want to say that a lot of people just aren't understanding, um, especially the ones who haven't lived in the ghetto, and they don't understand our culture and they don't understand the nature of things that happen the way they happen within our neighborhoods. And it's sad because um, they talk about it so much, but they don't get to know us. Like they don't come into the neighborhoods and see what goes on, or they don't conduct studies or surveys as to why the killings may be going on, or anything. The most you hear from them is criticism. Oh, well, there's so much black on black violence. They do this, they do that, X, Y, Z, but yet they don't get to know us. And the only way they know us is through news cameras and posts from different newspaper companies. Like that's not who we really are. They're going to report us to be however they want to depict us to be. And the people who haven't lived there and know nothing about the ghetto or our neighborhoods, they're going to believe it because they haven't been here and they don't know. And it's sad because I feel like it goes without saying, you just can't judge a book by its cover. And although that some people may live in Berry Farms and stuff like that, is who's to say that there's not people within Berry Farms who has overcome being in the ghetto and has stepped outside of drug dealing, gun violence, and that kind of thing. But they never know it because they never came to see for themselves. They just don't know, so they just gonna go by. Oh well, it was 27 shootings in the last month, and this, that. They're gonna go by the negativity and not the positivity, and that's for anything. And that's for anything. And I think that people need to realize that because you can be God and God alone, and they're still gonna criticize you. Like Obama, he can't do nothing right. He can do nothing right in people's eyes. Nothing. He passed bills to help people struggling with health care. They hated it. Oh, they don't deserve it. They this, they that. But yet you all continue to criticize us for the things that we do and how we live our lives because it's a way of life for us. This is what we know. Now, I don't condone black on black violence. I don't think no one does. I've lost a number of family members. I've lost friends and everything. But I think that my frustration comes from the fact that they don't get to know us, and the fact that they depict us to be uh, thugs. And it's sad to me. Like it's sad that they view us this way. They view us to be minorities for one. We always get the short end of the stick. It just happens like that, and they can't understand why we are as adamant about the George Zimmerman Trayvon Martin case as we are. They don't understand, and a lot of them, their viewpoints come from, well, why are they so vocal for George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, but when you have killings in your own neighborhood, you don't speak up. I'm gonna give a couple of reasons as to why people don't speak up, and I can't blame them. I can't blame them. Number one, black on black violence within the ghetto or our neighborhoods is almost like we're accustomed to it. Hearing someone die nowadays, really just for the family, is kind of heart wrenching, but for everyone else, it's just like, oh my God, like wow, like okay, because we hear it so much. It's so much death within our community that it makes no sense. Like we should not be immune to death, and it's sad, but we are. But I think that it stems from the fact that when something like that does happen within our community, when there is a killing or there is a shooting or there is some kind of violence within our community, when we seek help, we don't get it. So someone could murder someone right now, and I could tell the police, well, X, Y, and Z happened, and da da da. majority of the time, nothing is going to get solved. I can give them everything I know, and almost like they just like for the first couple of days they're on the case. Like it's almost like a first 48 kind of thing, and maybe that's just how the system works. I don't know, but we don't get justice from the system. We just don't get it within the black on black crime or anything. Stemming down to the George Zimmerman thing, we just don't get the necessary justice that we deserve. So people are not going to speak up. They're not going to come to you and be like, well, I seen or I heard, because guess what? 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you, hey, if you say X, Y, and Z, then we'll give you this and we'll do that. But at the end of the day, in the community that they don't know about, we're deemed a snitch. No one likes a snitch, no matter how you feel, no matter how you look at it. No one likes a snitch. It is what it is. And although we do it to help and not harm, it in some people's instances it's to harm and not help. And that's what they don't get about the community. They don't understand that. They don't understand that if they were to come into the community and actually realize that these black on black violences and crime stuff like that can be solved or resolved if people were to speak up and stuff like that, if they didn't put their name in it. I know there's been numbers of cases where I've heard people were snitching for X, Y, and Z or something like that, and either they've gotten killed, they've gotten death threats, they've moved away because it's almost like they wanted to help, but then the police didn't do anything to protect them. So it's like, how do you expect us to come and speak on something or to snitch, as most people would put it, if you're not going to protect us? There is no protection within our community. And that's why a lot of people aren't as adamant about, speaking up. And I can't blame them. There's no protection. Because at the end of the day, after we come to you all and tell you all what happened and you all semi-solve the case, we still have to come back there. We still got to go there. Our family still lives there. It's hard. It's going to be hard. It just is. It's sad because a lot of families go without justice because people don't speak up that know things, and it just sometimes that's just how it is, and it sucks because we shouldn't live in a community where snitching is, in certain instances, I should say, where snitching is frowned upon, because sometimes that justice for a family needs to be served. It needs to be served no matter how people look at it. It just needs to be served. But a lot of people don't look at it like that. And the same system that's deemed to protect and serve us are there to harm us. It is what it is. Just like the Oscar Grant situation. A lot of people don't know about that. I went to see Fruitvale Station last night, and it really touched me. For those of you who don't know who Oscar Grant is, I would advise you to go read up on him. Go look at the movie at least. It's a really touching story, but that's just another instance where, the minority just didn't get the upper hand of the stick. But that it is what it is. I'm just tired of people saying, you'll stand up for George Zimmerman, for Trayvon Martin, but you won't stand up for the own injustices in your own community. I kind of just put it in a nutshell what it really is, honestly. And one more thing. I was watching Piers Morgan the other day on CNN, and Pastor Jesse Lee Patterson, he was on there. And I think that for a man of faith, for me, I feel like he's doing more harm than he is helping. One of the things that he said and he was adamant about was Trayvon Martin was a thug. That's what he said. Trayvon Martin was a thug. He would get suspended. He was involved in numbers of cases and for someone of African descent, I feel like he should know that. Well, excuse me. He should know the difference between a thug and just someone who may have just acted out off of friends' reactions or whatever may have happened with the whole Trayvon Martin thing when he was in school or anything. No one really knows. But to be deemed a thug for something that you do in school, I just think that it's just too much. It's too much. Like, I know thugs, and it's kind of like the stuff that he did in high school or the stuff that he was being, accused of is nothing compared to what a thug would do. So where he gets this inference from him being a thug, I don't know. I don't know because I don't see him as a thug. I didn't out of all of this, all of the good and bad that I've heard about him, I didn't see him as being a thug. And that's a man of the church. And sadly, that's why a lot of people don't go to church, because you got people like him out there who is hypocritical almost. They preach the word, but then they against their people. But that's just that. It's the way of life. But I do want to say that if we want change, the change starts with us. We have to be the change that we want to see. It's just as simple as that. Selling drugs and gang violence and that kind of thing. It's not nowhere near worth your life. It's just not. Um, this is just something I just wanted to get off of my chest. I would appreciate if everyone would comment and tell me what they think. Thanks.